Hello guys, today we're going to make a win-back series. What is a win-back series? Well, it's a way to re-engage with customers that haven't purchased for a while. For a start, it's a lot cheaper to market to customers that have already purchased from your store than it is to acquire new ones. Why is that? Well, it's basically because customers that have purchased from you in the past already trust you. Before we get started, there's a few things you need to ask yourself. First of all, what type of store are you? Are you a grocery store? Do customers purchase from you every week? Are you a high-ticket jewelry boutique and customers might only purchase from you once every 6 months? We need to know this because we need to identify which customers have lapsed and which customers are just in the middle of a buying cycle. So the first step to a win-back campaign is the offer. Let's make the offer. Okay. So here I am in SmartrMail. We're going to navigate to automations. We are going to make a new automated flow and we have a pre-made template to start with. Let's follow that. Stuart's win-back campaign. You can call it whatever you want. Nobody's going to see it except you. So here we have our flow builder. So the trigger in this case is going to be customers who are least engaged. So we're going to select the default for least engaged subscribers simply because I'm going to try to keep this tutorial as simple as possible. But if you wanted to make it more personalized, you could make a smart segment and select that instead. And the smart segment would be something like customers that haven't purchased in 180 days. Or whatever is appropriate for your store. For now, least engaged subscribers is just going to be automatically generated from SmartrMail's data. So we're going to compose. Let's ignore the subject line for now. We'll come back to that. So the thing you've got to remember in a win-back campaign is that customers who are disengaged don't want to read a lot. So keep your email short and personalized. Okay, so here is our default email. It's honestly not too bad, and you could honestly just switch this on and just leave it at that if you're really pushed for time, but I would highly recommend personalizing it to your brand style or your brand's voice. Let's personalize this a little bit. So I'm going to replace this image with an image I made in Photoshop. 10% off just for you. That's a bit big right now, so I'm going to pull it down to 400. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a title. Long time no see. So I've just changed the body background to match the background of the rest of the email. Just like the way that looks personally, and I'm going to change the vertical spacing a little bit too. Actually, I liked it better the way it was. Okay, so the first thing they see when they open this email is 10% off, and we hint at the fact that they haven't shopped for a while. So here we get into the copy, and like I said, we're going to keep it pretty short because people who are disengaged just don't want to read a lot. So this little bit of code is a personalized field. So basically, if we have the subscriber's name in our data, we'll put their name in this field. So it'll say, "We miss you, Stuart," but if we don't have the data, it'll just be blank. And it'll just say, "We miss you." We could also add something if we want. So we could say something like, "We miss you, dude." And that'll say, "We miss you, dude." I don't think we should say that. But if you want to, you can. That's fair. So I'm going to leave this copy basically the way it is because it's actually not too bad. But what I am going to add is a coupon. So we're going to go, we've been adding a lot of new products at our store. Again, another personalized field, so that's just going to pull the data from Shopify and put in your store's name, and then we'll put the coupon here. So if you don't know how to make a coupon, I'll quickly go through it. Now, you don't have to include a discount, but there is studies that show that including a discount increases the likelihood of the shopper returning by up to double. So if you can, I'd definitely recommend it. We just go to our Shopify page and we go to discounts, create discount code. Discount code will be come back 21. Discount code 10%. I won't go into all these options, but basically you just go save discounts. And let's just make this code really big so it's impossible to miss. So now that the copy's done, if we go down to our products, we've got a few options. We can choose slow moving products. We can choose best sellers. We've also got Apple products. That's just a list that would have been made in Shopify. Let's just stick with bestsellers. So I'm just adding a Shop Now button directly under the coupon code, just as a really clear call to action. So that is our first email done. Enable. And good idea to preview it just to make sure it looks nice on a desktop and mobile viewing. So before we move on, I'm going to actually add another email to this series. I'm going to add a time delay for 5 days, and I'm going to add an email. Okay, so this email is going to be much the same, except we're going to have a different subject line and slightly different copy. And we're also going to increase the discounts to 15%. So this is basically the same image, just a different color. So for this email, my tone's going to be a little bit more serious. Back together. We added an extra 5% to your discount. And then of course, you'll need a different discount code. So I'm just gonna quickly whip that up. Because this isn't the win-back template, it's just a regular template. It's just gonna show us these default product blocks. So we could just add the MacBook there, but I prefer to stick with the smart blocks. So let's add smart products, bestsellers. Now let's talk a little bit about subject lines. This is something I put off because it's a big topic, but basically with subject lines, they're where you should be spending the most amount of time in your email marketing. You should dedicate more time to subject lines than you do the copy in the email, because all the copy in the world isn't going to matter if nobody clicks on your email. What is a good subject line? I could spend hours talking about that, so I won't. I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to go to SmartrMail, and we have 80 of the best win-back email subject lines we've seen, and I'm just going to copy and paste. Let's reconnect. It's been too long. Remember to include preview text. It's just as important as the subject line because it's what you see when you're looking at the inbox. And now let's preview. Looks good. Let's go back to that first email and add a subject line. Checking in, that looks good to me. Long time, no see, ... Okay, all of that is just step one. Step two is called the pivot. So now that we've tried to entice the customer with an offer and they still haven't bitten, we need to explain the value that we offer to the customer or the value that our product offers to the customer. I'm going to ignore this and I'm going to add my own. I've created this graphic explaining some of the reasons to shop with us: free delivery, carbon neutral delivery options, biggest Black Friday sale. Now, depending on your store, you could say handmade jewelry. If you're selling professional golf balls, you could say scientifically proven to increase your average par score. I don't know how to play golf. Whatever fits your store, put it in the email, keep it short and sweet. And if you do include a graphic like I have, make sure to include text as well, because what if the image doesn't load? Then they're going to be looking at a blank email and it's not going to re-engage them. So let's add a bit of text. So it says, Stuart, or as a fallback, hey, let's catch up. It's been a while since we touched base with you. Here's what's new. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to lower the vertical spacing, tighten it up a little bit. I'm also just going to change the background of this image. Wow, that looks like a pretty good email. And before we move on, let's change the subject line. It's the most important thing. Let's find one that works. Want to have a catch up? We miss you. And again, with preview text, you just want to tease the customer, give them something, promise them something of value that they'll get from reading your email. This email looks bloody fantastic if you ask me, but just make sure you preview it before you hit enable. Save and exit. And that is our win back series done. You might be asking yourself, what do you do if that doesn't work? Well, I've got good news and bad news. There's a step 3, but it involves removing them from your email list. You don't want subscribers that aren't engaging in your emails to be receiving your emails. It doesn't look good for your brand and it ruins all your stats. I'll cover that in an upcoming video on sunset automation. So if you aren't subscribed already to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope this helps.